Yes, I'm in the laundry room. Yes, I came too close to the camera. Whew. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Let's go on Instagram. Doing Instagram and YouTube. Oops. Changed everything. There we go. Pressing all the wrong buttons. Pressing all the wrong buttons. There we go. So welcome. Whew. I might turn it around and put it up there, but right now I'm sitting. Maybe I'm going to stand. Oh, standing. Oh, you get to see the. I should put something cool in my background. But hey, this is life. This is real. This ain't any AI. Look at my hair. Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to the coffee corner. Woohoo! It's been a while. Um, yeah, crazy this weekend. There's a lot of energy in the sense this full moon. And now we're heading towards a new moon. So for my new moon people that receive readings, you're going to be receiving them this weekend. So we are sitting inside a very potent energy right now. And the sun is 22 degrees. And while we are not yet in an exact square to Saturn, we're clearly moving towards a turning point. This weekend is a bridge carrying us towards next week's new moon and a new cycle entirely. Like this is going to be my last moon reading for the year, and the intensity of the energies that are coming through are quite very crazy. It's very overwhelming. They can be very scattered. And this is a time where I feel like with the Mars squaring Neptune, it's action meets the fog. It's like you're going, but there's still a haze. There's still this, I guess a fog, a blur. And this weekend's defining aspects of Mars squaring Neptune. So this is not subtle energy. Mars wants action. Neptune dissolves certainty. This creates a moment where we find ourselves, right? We find ourselves where we feel compelled to act on spiritual impulses, emotional reactions, or imagined futures. But this is not the time to charge. This isn't the time to go and full force into a unclear situation. This is a soul driven action, and it's not logical driven action. If we're triggered, reactive, or emotionally flooded, things can go very sideways and very quickly. Anger, frustration, sensitivity, old emotions, wounds may surface, especially if we try to push. If we try to push the outcome, if we instead of listening to what the moment is asking us, there's not a hammer energy. It's not a bulldozer energy. This is conscious, restraint, reflection, alignment, right? And the moon in Libras are saving grace. So thankfully, the moon remains in Libra all weekend. And that's what's holding the balance. That's what's bringing, this balance in for us, right? And we got to pause before reacting. We got to seek harmony, not dominance. Consider, perception and perspectives, and conscious and unconscious, yours and theirs, right? This is, even though there's some awkward quincunx aspects to Neptune, the moon also forms a supportive connection to Mars, helping us choose peace without bypassing truth. So Libra's asking, how do we restore the balance without losing ourselves? And that's imperative, right? We really got to come in to the balance. The balance is important, right? but not this weekend. And it has to. If I feel you know, if the moon wasn't in Libra this weekend, and if it was in more like a Scorpio, or it would have been, I'm going to call it diabolical energy, really. We would have been in something that we really, really, really don't want to be in. And especially with these big squares coming up, and it's all about us standing in our peace and our love. We have to do that. There is so much that is forcing us not to, or trying to force us not to, trying to force us off our track, and get us into something we don't want to go into. And this is where we, standing firm and calling in the energies of love, calling in the energies of peace, and having that energy is so important. Yeah, the chaos is out there. It is. And with Neptune at 29 degrees, this is it's the anaretic degree, right? Neptune is at the final degree of Pisces. It's karmic, it's emotional, it's the spiritual threshold. This is the last time we're going to be in this energy, in it, with Neptune there. You cannot carry what you refuse to release. The shame, the guilt, the old self-judgment, the lingering pain from the past, especially the stories we tell ourselves, who we are, what we did, and what we didn't do, right? Neptune's medicine is not a force, it's forgiveness, compassion, and surrender. But we are holding on to so much. We're holding on to, you're hearing people holding on to shit from, like, oh, that happened 600 years ago. Yeah, well, 600 years ago, 100 years ago, the mentality of people, the way people interact, were isn't like how they interact now. It isn't how they connect now. It's different. We are on a totally different playing field, a totally different energetic. Um, I just got like a mind field. Like, we are in some times that are bringing us into a place where we are able to have a closer connection to the divine. And this is where, in and it's so hard to explain. It's like you have that God level, but there's a level beyond the God, a level beyond that of what we are even capable of understanding. And that's the forces that are coming in, and it's fearful, it's scary, it's challenging our ego. It's challenging the way that we do things and how we step forward into our lives, right? This isn't, even 20 years ago, even prior to 19, this is nothing. you know we are now into a time that is wanting to bring in, Neptune is wanting to teach us the softness, the honesty, and the spiritual maturity. And with Mercury sextiling over to Pluto, which is really nice, Mercury makes this sextile to Pluto over the weekend, having meaningful conversations, speaking the truth without destruction, gain insight into hidden motivations. This is not about winning arguments, it's about transforming and understanding. And late Sunday is a yod, a finger of God, evolving the moon at the late degree. The symbolic of a yod is the mother, father, and child. It's the Trinity point, the moment of the divine alignment where choice matters. This is not about control, it's about conscious participation. This weekend asks us to choose peace over ego, release what we've been carrying too long, let go of outdated narratives, move the goalpost forward instead of staying stuck in old battles. Yelling at each other on the field never wins the game, right? It doesn't. Alignment does. The Libra moon reminds us of the beauty, the grace, the balance, the compassions are not weakness. They are the way through. And if we move through this weekend With awareness, humility, and heart, the new moon opens to clarity instead of confusion. And this is how we step into the next, not by force, but by alignment. And that's for us, each individual person, we have to do it for ourselves. I'm not looking at the full collective because there is such a diversity within the collective right now. There is such a division that is there within the collective. And I have to say, there's very little spiritual leaders out there anymore. Many have fallen or moved or have gone a different direction. Many have stepped away from doing this work for whatever personal reasons or reasons that they've had. And this is so important for those who are still here, those that are still doing the spiritual work, to continue, because you are going to be challenged more than you've ever been challenged in your life. Good morning. This is where you are going to find that either people in your life, people in your job, in different ways, are going to challenge you. And it's going to challenge that place where I'm choosing peace over ego. I need a self-help book that only talks about love and positivity. I just need I just need it repeated so I can soothe myself. Yeah. No, hey, definitely. Definitely. The collective right now and the divisions that are there are quite I'm gonna the word distraught and drastic come in. And it's where these divisions that are coming in within the collective, within our communities, within the world around us, they are coming in. And this push that's coming forward within these energies have forced many who do astrology, tarot readings, spiritual work, are walking away from it. And then we have others that are coming in that we have to be aware of, right? It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing coming in. So it's looking at the ones who are tried and true and been there for a long time and continue doing and showing up every single day for the work. And they're not showing up for the work for the $1 million check, because if this is the work that you want, $1 million check, I'm sorry. There's no fucking money in it, because spirit doesn't and spirit, that's a mundane thing. That's a muggle thing. We need yes, we need money. But the money is to be utilized in a way to help us to carry on within this earth journey. Um, I was privy to, and this is okay. This is where I have issues. Here comes mama. When I see, you know, and this is within, say, First Nations, any, taking, passing down the torch, right? And passing down the torch, and then all of a sudden they're there to, um, they're taking on that person's medicine bag. But in order for you to get that medicine bag, you have to pay a lot of money, like money, to get that medicine bag. And then it's a whole, and then you got to pay them all kinds of other stuff and everything else. And then it's paraded around at a powwow, right? Of him or her handing it down to this next person who's going to be carrying on that legacy. But then all of a sudden, this person is stepping into where that person had to mortgage their house to give it to that person in order for them to have that knowledge. And that's not spirit. That's not spirit. That's not how spirit works, right? And that's just not how it is. Spirit does not work that way. yes, there is an exchange of energy. I get, yes, there has to be some kind of exchange of energy, but not to the detriment of others to a point where they have to basically almost bankrupt themselves in order to get that. I've seen where people have paid 15, 20, $25,000 for a weekend to gain spiritual knowledge. And I'm like, that's not where spirit is. Spirit isn't just because you've paid that X amount of dollars is not, when I studied Huna and and becoming a Huna shaman, um, Lady Margaret was one of the last Hawaiian women, and she got she got they got angry with her because she said the word has to go out to all, and she started teaching a lot of people, a lot of white people, on rituals and rites and the Huna and understanding what Huna was and the love and bringing in the love and the peace. And she goes, the only way we can do it is through love and peace. And she never, for her to do her stuff was an exchange. If you know what can you afford, what can you do, and teaching them and making sure that they had the proper knowledge to carry it on, to bring in the love and the peace and the joy to others. That's the energy we're really at. We're at this higher energy, this higher vibration of energies that's coming in, that is getting us to say all that you are wanting to claim, all that you are wanting to hold on is frivolous. And spirit is going to show you in ways that it is, and challenge you, and challenges in ways that are crazy, are really crazy, that are going to be, I'm going to say, diabolical. Right now, there is things that are being unearthed, not only in the physical, but in the metaphysical realms that are coming forth. Some is good, some ain't so good. And there are countries right now that are teetering on areas that very similar to what you know um, Nazi Germany was doing, in World War II, and studying into and getting into some areas that were very unethical. Let's put it that way. It's not saying that we haven't had that before, but I mean, this is where the divisions are coming in, and this is where people are going to start coming in and saying, you know what, it's my job. I have to do this. It's a law. You know, it was illegal to sign the Declaration of Independence, right? But it was legal to kill millions of Jews. Go figure, right? So this is where you got to start looking at what is truth. And that's where this energy is coming in. And that's where the ego steps in, because the ego wants to keep you alive and wants to keep you, where I have my stuff. I'm going to be okay if I have my house, I have my car, I have my money in the bank, right? And this is where it's like, yeah, but you know what? You can have that, definitely, but it's, where do you put God? Where do you put spirit, the Holy Spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it? Where do you put that divinity into your life? That's what's got to come first. And we are in a world that does not. We are in a world that is part of the division. And I'm not talking about churches and religions. I'm talking within yourself, within your own heart, within your own soul. I'm not talking about any dogma out there. Like, before you leave the house, are you asking and coming into the guidance? Because they're going to meet you halfway. They're going to come in and they're going to help you. That's where it's at, right? That's where it's at. That's why I do the auctions. Yeah, I have a base price of what I charge for. But if someone came to me and said, hey, I'm going to offer you X amount of dollars, can I get a reading? More than likely, 9 times, 99.999% of the time, I'm going to say yes. right? And that's the whole thing. It's just like bringing that energy in, because I'm here to guide. I'm here to be that one of counsel. Um, I didn't take the path of the Kardashians, you know. Um, I don't think my that's it, you know. I didn't take that path. Uh, or Britney Spears, God bless her soul. You know, this is where it's like, where you entering in, and that's also an understanding too with the astrology, where you find where people, like, I laugh when people say, "Oh, Jupiter is so wonderful." Well, not really. Jupiter's kind of an asshole. He's Zeus, you know, like, he's not exactly a nice person. He's done some really not so nice things, but he will give you the illusion of things expanding in whatever way you would like it to expand, right? So, I mean, Uncle Jupe's not really, and he's connected to Baal, and you got to think of what Baal is, right? And the god Baal, and there's a whole thing on that, um, with that connection, and even with the connections going all the way to Yahweh. And but people don't want to hear that. That's not. We're entering into a transition and an ending of 6,500 years, which is a huge. When you look at the formations of the different of our worlds, even the Mesopotamian, and the different um, eras, that we are now at an end, and there's nothing written. There's nothing written right now after that. Like, when that conjunction happens on February 20th, like, we are now rewriting things. We are going to be finding that there is going to be new understandings of the origins of humanity, and what a human is. We're going to be coming into an understanding of even with new gods, new religions, new um, entities that are coming forth. So we're coming into a such a transitional, crazy time. Yet the Muggle world is going to try and keep you here, keep you bound in some way, and keep you scared. And it's nothing to be afraid of. So I got my golden tarot cards out. So I'm going to pull some cards here for us. The one country that keeps coming in my head, and so there's something, and I love the chateaus, I love the art, I love the food, I love the energies of France, but there's something there in France that I feel is not positive, not a good thing. So there's something there that's coming up, right? Yeah, it's one of those energies, and it's one of those things that keep coming up, and I keep seeing things with France and the darkness. I mean, even from when they did their whole opening thing for the Olympics, and all kinds of stuff that has come forward. Now, France has always had kind of a weird, seedy past, and a huge connection with the church too. So there's a there's this energy too, where with this Pope, who is the first American Pope too, and a young guy, um, of a rise of different energies that are coming up through the church as well, and the connection of the church, with the Church of England too. So there's something between that and England that's there as well. So there's some kind of alignment or realignment that's coming in with that. And who's to say? I mean, you know, how the torch is being passed, or things are going to come forth. Who's to say that the United States isn't going to go to war with all of Europe? I don't know. It's just something I just came to me, maybe, or with England, maybe. But there's something there. There's something that's not quite right. And now we have this whole thing that's happening in Canada, which is really scary. I mean, when an MP crosses the line, I mean, his career is basically gone because he's not going to last long. But there's such a seediness that's happening within our own government because there are traitors there that were never called out, were never brought forward, and it just boggles my mind. It's like we're like, why? Like this in times of old, if you were a traitor, you would have been called out. You would have been tarred and feathered, right? But no, it's not happening. But there's something there that's holding them. And then there's this grip too, because I know there's also a huge change, especially with this energy that's coming in with Neptune and Saturn going into Aries. I mean, just the thought of going into Aries alone, these two, father and son, Saturn and Neptune going in together are not exactly buddy buddy type of energies going into Aries. And Aries is the god of war. Aries is a god of transition and movement, the spring, bringing in, budding in something new, bringing in something that hasn't been there before, right? Bring 'em out. This is things that are extremely, and I keep the word diabolical are coming in. I mean, we are entering in a transitional time of great spiritual work and downloads that are coming in, but we're also coming into where there is such a fight, a dark fight, where it's with the liberals coming in. It's, yeah, I can see the conscription coming in and everything else, to go and fight for against the bad Russians, right? And it's like, mm, going back to my other thought, it just came back in, was, with China, because there's a huge transition that's going to be happening in China. And, because the thing is that when a government is formed around one person, or a party formed around one person, usually doesn't last so for very long. So we're going to see things like with China, even with Russia, there's going to be some really big changes. I hate to, I don't love Putin, but I don't want the next person who's in line after Putin in, because he's not very, he's more cutthroat. Putin's a Libra. So he wants to bring in some, he weighs out his pros and cons. But then again, with Libras, sometimes you can't always trust a Libra. God bless my Libras, but you do have a sword. And you wouldn't think twice of scaring people if you have to. Just saying, Scorpios are pretty bad, but Scorpios are like, they at least they have somewhat of an emotional sign, right? It's a very Neptune. So I'm hoping 2026 is the start of the downfall. Start of a downfall. If he gets a majority government, it's like, I don't know, a downfall to a point where it'll look like a downfall, or will it be where he is now got everything that he wanted and then walks away, and then everybody in Canada is left holding the bag? That's the other thing, is like people are not looking at a full picture, looking at the land grabs from the First Nations. I don't, I work for a First Nation group, but I don't honor the treaty. I don't agree with them. I don't agree with saying that before an assembly, right? Everybody, and the thing is, and what I see is like these, it's like, oh, this is my territory, right? And I want this back. And then over here, these guys over here are saying that's my territory and I want it back. Next thing, you're going to have a conflict between those two territories, because they're going to say, hey, that over there, that mountain was on my land, or was on my, in my, and it's just going to add more chaos. It's just going to add more craziness, and then you're going to have where people are saying, well, fuck you, I'm not going to invest in this country. You're going to have so many people pull out. And you want a bankrupt country? You want to live in a third world country? You know, I mean, they're already bringing in people from a place that don't even know how to wipe their ass, right? That don't even know how to eat properly, don't even know how to walk into a place and be, have manners. And I'm not trying to be hoity-toity, but there's respect. There's a respect there. There's an honor there. And coming into a place where people have been here for 3, 4, 5, 600 years. Families have been here for 6 generations. Yes, there's been other people here, but who was here before that? You know, this is, we're on a world. We're on this one place, and needing to work and expand and grow in many different ways. Alberta could be like Saudi Arabia, where there are no taxes, where everybody gets health care, where you are able to, get an education, get a home, and work and thrive and grow and build, in so many ways. But then again, you got that darkness wanting to come in and squash you, right? The earth gives us things for us to prosper, for us to grow. That's why, you know so many souls want to come back to this. We're here, we're like, why? But they want to come back here because there's so much here for us to grow, to connect with, to become alive with. And that's where this energy is coming in, wants to have us come alive with. But there are those entities in that are wanting to come in. And even within the music industry, I mean, don't get me on Beyonce, because I've never liked the bitch. I've never liked their music. I've never liked any of that. And when I first saw her with Destiny, I just like, I don't like her. There's something about her. I don't know. Candace Owens, something about her. She can speak well. She does well. She practices what she's doing. Still, there's something there. Same with Tim Pool. Tim Pool's just, I don't know, he's just like a dancing little twat right now. But you got all of that, and then you got Tucker coming in, and I'm not sure about Tucker. Is he left? Is he right? Where is he? What is he doing? He has information that nobody else knows about, and he will not release that information because he knows he will be dead, right? And then you got, Trump. Trump is Trump right now. He's just at a point. He's lucky that Uranus is back in Taurus right now, because with Uranus back in Taurus right now with him, it's giving him a little bit of clout. But once Uranus goes back in Gemini, that's the demise of him. It's important your son wants a drug. Oh, hi. Okay, I gotta go. Okay, why are you sad? Oh, okay. That is sad. And she's lying about it. How do you know?